So part of what makes our job so fun is it's not just the cars that we're buying and selling, but we maintain quite a few vehicles for customers and clients, friends of the dealership. The result is that there are some cars that, I don't know about you, but I would kill to own.
Absolutely.
We get to drive them occasionally. We get to take them to the shows. We get to share them with people. And the coolest part is we get to park them here kind of under our banner. This is a car actually that a client of ours bought about 15 years ago. It's an XK120 Jaguar 1954. And for those of you who are familiar with the road racing scene in the early 50s, this was the car. I mean, this was the supercar. In the late 1940s, early 1950s, this was your Lamborghini. This was your Ferrari F40. They brought them, it was, wealthier individuals. They'd buy the cars, they'd drive them all week. Friday afternoon, they'd load them up, they'd put their gear in the back, they'd put their crash helmet in the seat next to them. Maybe the wife came, maybe the wife didn't come. They'd go to Bridgehampton, they'd go to Thompson, they'd go to, not Lime Rock in the early 50s, they'd go to the Glen. Even Jay Kaplan, who's from Rhode Island, raced a 120, very similar to this car. He would get in the car and drive it all the way down Route 1 to Florida to race at Sebring in the car, turn around, drive home. I mean, this was the car, this defined the era. And what we've done with this is, our client owned the car about 15 years ago. He then sold it, regretfully, and we brought the car back. He bought the car back about 6 months ago, and it had been sitting for a large part of the interim. And even when he owned it 15 years ago, the car was never fully finished. So we had the opportunity to kind of finish the restoration as well as wake the car back up. You know, a couple of examples of the small details are, if you look over here, these are the Brooklyn's racing screens that we see on so many kind of race car specials. What a lot of people don't know is the vast majority of these are replica screens. The way you can tell the difference is if you look at the knob, the adjustment knob, they're shaped like an S. The real ones were shaped like an S. So many of the fake ones are just straight up and down. You know, it's the attention to detail that really sets this car apart. Again, we, back here, we had these marker lights. This is not an original piece. We had this specially machined out of aluminum. It's things like this. If you look down here, these are Alphen brake drums, which were a really hot period accessory. Anyone that's ever driven an XK120 on the track knows that one of the scariest parts is when you have to slow the thing down. They go straight well, but after a lap or two, those brakes heat up and you're pumping on the floor. So the fin drums cooled better in period. And we sourced a set for this car. It's all these small things put together. It makes a really cool driving experience.
As you can hear, it's got a fabulous straight pipe exhaust system that really gives it that throaty sound. Power plant in this car is a 6-cylinder dual overhead cam with a 4-speed box. Coming through here at power, the car really gets along nicely. Double clutch on the downshift, and she's handling beautifully so far. As you can feel, we'll get on the loud pedal, really open her up. Barely making it through 3 gears there. It's got more to go. Can only imagine what it must have been like in 1950, taking this car 100, 120 miles an hour on a dirt road, which essentially was the racetrack back then, flogging it around corners, having the rear end hang out, understeer, oversteer, all of it. As I said earlier, these cars were raced back in the 50s and 60s. Let's get a taste and see what that was like. There's raw power right there. Absolutely astonishing power from the 50s. They're taking the corner at speed. You can just feel the car making its power, losing the back end. It's just fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. What an experience. After driving one of these cars, there's just no question why these cars were so embraced in America and why they were received with such popularity. Power, elegance, and mere fun. It's all in one car. This one, fortunately, has come out of hibernation, and we're glad to have it in our showroom.